shit.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the yard of streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And you can't have Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
What's going
Hello.
on?
I like to dab sometimes.
I think the dab was one of the most underrated things of the last few years. Underrated moves, dance moves, you want to call it? I don't know.
I think it got cooler after it was not as popular anymore. Because I think when like Cam was doing it like all the time and like everybody was doing it all the time, it was just like, all right, it's too much, you know? But
Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoy it more now that it's not everywhere, you know, or they're not like, come on, old lady, let's see you dab. It's so funny, you know, like.
When we were in school, when we were at the bar, we would do the dab, whatever, and then the kids on the hockey team, one kid and one of my friends came up to me, he was just hammered, and just goes, mini dab. And I started doing that at work, just doing mini dabs to people. They were not a fan of it.
Yeah.
They were not a fan. I thought it was clever as hell, though, but, you know, who am I?
Sure.
Just a champion. We got our usual suspects peeps here. Micah, hello. D squared was popping. Micah, do you remember You're a Jerk dance? Yes, that is.
Yeah.
Other than the Soldier Boy, that was my first dance I ever learned.
Oh my God, you would.
You're a jerk. I know. You're a jerk.
Okay,
I hit that. And then I also did crank that Soldier Boy. Sarah,
God, you have to remember how old I am, guys. Like that song came out when I was in high school. Okay, like this isn't like, oh my God, were you 2 years old when that came out? Yeah, that song came out in what, like 2007?
I was in 4th grade.
Let me see when that Soldier Boy, and it's Soldier.
Yeah, with a J.
Soldier Boy.
Let
Let me see. It came out
Superman.
2007. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I was going into my senior year of high school. So
Hello,
David.
David, who turns heel.
I love that we have a David, and a David.
Well, throw some D's on it. Speaking,
yeah,
that was a reference to Soldier Boy connecting. Yeah. Sarah, you know, 2007 is when Soldier Boy came out. 2007 was an unbelievable time in wrestling. You know, Batista and John Cena on top. But you know what's also a great time in wrestling? Right now is an incredible time, Sarah. And I love that we have this version of the show along with our 2 other ones on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to know when we go live for those. But I love this part of the week because it's just all of wrestling so good right now. And we just get to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Like there's just so much going on, and I feel like every day there's something, even if it is a little bit watered down, it's still relatively new. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's nice. It's very nice. And both companies popping right now for different reasons.
I mean,
yeah, I do have my lemon. Now that you bring that up, I have my lemon. Thank you for that. I was gonna have something, but I am gonna choose something else.
Is it collision? Is it collision?
You know what? How about we just wait for that and wait for the transition to pop up on the screen?
I think we're mind readers because the fact that you might know what I was reacting to is a little crazy.
It is kind of crazy. So let's just go.
Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud.
Don't be a lemon, Sarah. Be a rosebud. It is time for our lemon and rosebud of the week. Trying to pick my phone up off the ground.
You didn't need your phone, I thought.
You know what? What if we get WWE news? You never know.
Just holding you accountable.
You know what? At least somebody is. Okay, Sarah, at least somebody's holding me accountable. And keeping us back on track. Lemon Rosebud, if you're new to the program, first off, welcome. And second off, Lemon and Rosebud are when Sarah and I say our favorite Rosebud and least favorite Lemon thing in wrestling this week. And it can be in anything, from WWE to Impact, AEW, even the Indies. What is something that we loved and did not love? So, Sarah, I've been Royal Rambling here. What is your Rosebud of the week?
What do you think it is?
I think it has to do with the men on your shirt.
Yeah. Oh my
Where?
god, it's my bae right here. Oh my god, I need to get another Imperium shirt. Also, I thought that the like hole in it like magically fixed itself. No, it didn't.
No,
I was like, did I imagine that it ripped at the seam? No, it's still there. So yeah, I would say my favorite thing, even though I talked about this already when we talked about Raw, is that Giovani Vinci was able to showcase more of his high flying skills and just his wrestling skills in general. Like I would like to believe that maybe to a certain extent we're getting past that like old age rule of, heels can't really do a whole lot in matches because they're just supposed to be making the baby face look good or whatever, I would like to think that maybe we're getting a little bit out of that, not necessarily full blown, because I understand the basis of the argument about why it was a thing, but I also feel like people just want to see good wrestling, and I don't think that people want to see or know that someone is being purposely held back just to benefit somebody else. I feel like that's kind of ridiculous, and so I think Vinci falls under that because like there's a reason why he was a singles competitor in NXT after, tag teaming with Kaiser. It's like, okay, yeah, and he was putting on banger matches. There's a reason why he was with Carmelo, yeah, like in matches with Carmelo Hayes, like, and he was incredible, and why people wanted to keep watching him. So, and I mean, there's not like a ton of Imperium fans, or at least not the most vocal fans, and technically I guess there aren't supposed to be, but from something that I see a lot when people are talking about Vinci is that they want to see the NXT Vinci come back. Like they want that version of him come back. So I would like to think that maybe we're gonna continue to see glimpses of that, because they let Kaiser do a bunch of stuff. Like, why hold back Vinci?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the fans just want to see good wrestling. They don't care if it's from the good guy or bad guy. It's very old school mentality to just have the heel
Yeah.
be essentially one-dimensional. And with the current state, like the heel can lose 9 times out of 10, but the match needs to be quality. You need to continually raise the bar for at least for yourself. And we're seeing that right now with Imperium. I mean, the fact that Triple H being running the show now helps immensely. And he gets that you can showcase everyone and still have the result that you want.
Yeah.
And I was a real fan. Not This isn't my Rosebud, but going off of yours, I was a real fan of Kaiser taking the fall. I
Me
thought that
too.
was a really good little addition into the story. It puts over Geo too, because now that shows that Kaiser's not this indestructible,
Yeah.
you know, male model looking physique athlete. And it elevates Geo where he can finally be Gunther's right hand man during his matches. And now you're getting to highlight Vinci the way that Kaiser was getting. And then still don't have to break up Imperium. You can still have Imperium and just have the roles reverse, which is great for storytelling.
Well, and the funny thing I think about this like old school mentality too is like when you think about some of the bigger stars in WWE over the last 10, 15 years, even the top heels, like we could even talk about Roman Reigns, for instance, because, he's the top guy or he's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to worry about holding him back. First of all, they don't hold him back. But second of all, a lot of these top guys were never high flyers, like incredible athletes. It was just like, okay, you're a big guy, you're really charismatic or whatever. And so it didn't really matter what they did in the ring. So I think it's just weird in like smaller situations, like a Giovani Vinci. It's like, no, you can't do all of that because we can't make you look too good. And it's like, but why? Like, people, I think, don't really. I mean, it's like, it's one of those things that's like confusing. It makes sense, but it's confusing because you want to believe that whoever is in a match, that like both are capable of being really good in the ring. So why are you going to purposely make one like dumb down their move set, basically?
Yeah.
Like it's like
Makes
then it
sense.
makes it look like it's an unequal matchup, and I don't know. And especially if you're familiar with them, like if they've done stuff in NXT or whatever, it's like that they're purposely not letting them do things.
Oh
So
yeah, 100%.
that maybe it's on a new track. That would be great.
I think we're getting there, Sarah. I think we're getting there.
Serves it.
I'm gonna go with my Rosebud. Sticking with one of my favorite stories in wrestling right now, the patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Christian and Adam Copeland Edge's match last night. It was very good. I thought that for what it was, it may have not had that lore that it would have had maybe 5 years ago, but it's different. It feels more real, which is I believe how AEW wants their product to be viewed.
Mm-hmm.
And it still all connects. I love how they connected it still to the whole Nick Wayne's mom situation, the finish of the match. For anyone who didn't see, Christian and Edge hit each other with a double spear, and then Nick Wayne's mom, I forget her name at the moment, she comes bursting down to the ring, goes in there, grabs the TNT championship, and is doing that. Who should I hit? I'm having a conflict of emotions. And then bam, over the head, she hits Edge with the TNT title. Christian Cage retains, stands over him as the camera goes or fades to black, whatever. I love this because Christian has made the TNT championship feel important.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that, kind of going on a larger conversation, that wrestling companies, both AEW and WWE, have found in the past year more success with their second tier champions. You have Gunther crushing it. I mean, historic reign. You have Orange Cassidy with I almost called it the All Atlantic with its OG name, but the International Championship, and how he takes so much pride in that, being more like an underdog Gunther. Like Gunther is going to beat you because he is Gunther. He is all powerful and is obviously the ring general. Where Orange Cassidy feels like he is the underdog who wins by the skin of his teeth every time, and he always finds a way to win, and the ultimate good guy in a sense for their second tier championship. And the TNT championship were just flatlining, kind of being left out there. And then you resurrect it with an unbelievable character like Christian Cage. And that's what we're seeing now in wrestling, with that, how important the person who is holding the title, how important they are rather than the title itself.
Well, and that's why I think it would be interesting if they did it with the women. And
Yeah.
I think that like we keep seeing like how beneficial it has been for guys having these secondary titles, so it's like I think that it could be beneficial for the women too, especially because with how they are like booking some of these champions, like Roman's never around, so there's not really any like men that there's a lot of men that can't really do anything.
Yeah.
And they're all like then trying to get for the US title, which obviously doesn't hold the same value as the Intercontinental title. And then when it comes to Raw, there's so many guys that could be in the title picture going up against Seth Rollins, but then a lot of those guys have already gone against Gunther, so it's like they're thriving in certain areas, but then Roman being gone is a problem. And then with the women, it's like they're so involved in certain storylines, or within Rhea's situation, they don't want to just throw any woman to her because it would, for the most part, be like an unfair fight.
You already devalue the championship.
Yeah, so it's like it would almost be good if they did have like a mid-card title for the women too, because then they could like be doing something, and then some of these other women that maybe aren't, even if they're not ready, or they don't view them as being ready to go after Rhea or Io Sky or whoever, then they are in that sphere of being able to go for the mid-card. And then we could see the same success, as I said, like the way that Gunther has with the IC title, or what they hope to bring with the US title with this tournament and Logan Paul and whatever,
Do you, if they do ever incorporate women's mid-card titles, do you believe it should be across all shows, including NXT, or brand specific?
I think I don't know if I would say all brands, because I think that's asking a lot.
Okay.
But and also it's like I think that the women in NXT are thriving in a lot of ways better than what the women are doing on Raw and SmackDown. So I feel like they don't really need to be involved in it. But I wouldn't be mad if it was a title that bounced back and forth, like the way that they had the world titles before, where they were on Raw and on SmackDown. I think if they introduce a mid-card title, it's almost like I would prefer it was just one at first, because like with the women's tag team titles, it's like if they were having two of them, that's too much, because you barely do enough for one set of tag titles, never mind having two. And so I wouldn't want them to like ruin the potential of a women's mid-card title by having two of them and then not doing anything with either of them,
Yeah, I agree with that. The NXT women are crushing it.
I know, we're in good hands.
We're in very good hands, and the fact that Lola Vice is a breakout shows a lot. I think they have big plans for her. She's been carrying that contract everywhere. That's really smart on their part. That's very smart on their part, her part, whoever. So we talked about a lot about what we like. Oh no, yeah. Talk about what we liked, but let's talk about what we didn't like, Sarah. What is your lemon of the week?
This is my lemon, and it's going to continue to be my lemon because I just keep seeing it everywhere. And this like, it's not an epiphany, but it's like this thought process came to me when I was thinking about it earlier, because I saw again where we're on Twitter and a bigger wrestling account says, responds to a tweet that says like, how would you book CM Punk from Royal Rumble to Mania? And this person was like, he has to win the Royal Rumble and then face Seth Rollins at Mania. And it's like, I will argue this until I am blue in the face. Like, I don't care. I do not care. I'm not even arguing for who should win the Rumble. I am arguing against the idea of CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble. I don't care. It's like, I mean, it's the same thing. I would say the same thing with like Randy Orton. Like, it's not a I hate CM Punk thing. It's this is immediately what I was thinking about. So first of all, CM Punk is not in a spot in his career where he needs the Royal Rumble to like push him into the main event at Mania. And I also feel like there have been plenty of other dudes that have been around that should be in the main event of Mania that we don't really need to push them out because you want CM Punk in the main event. That doesn't make any sense. Plus, I think that people have to remember, like, Mania is basically like every match is almost a main event worthy match. Like, I understand that there's a lot put into what the actual two last matches are on each show, but I don't think that they necessarily are the best matches or the most important matches, or like that there's something more significant about them than others, because I mean, how many times have you seen a WrestleMania main event that wasn't as good as three matches before, you know? So it's like, whatever.
Yeah,
but
I get what you mean.
To me, this just the CM Punk thing just reminds me of, like, as this is the word of like the month, I would say, how fickle WWE fans are, because I just immediately thought about when Batista came back and won the Royal Rumble, and everyone was freaking out and pissed off, right? Because why? It's Batista. Like, he doesn't need to win the Rumble. He doesn't need to be in the main event at Mania.
So right.
He's like taking opportunities away from other guys. This is such a Vince move, blah, blah, blah. Please tell me what CM Punk returning at the end of beginning of December, end of November, then going on to win the Royal Rumble a month or 2 months later, what that is. Is that not a Vince move? Because what? That doesn't make any sense. CM Punk is CM Punk. I understand he's a draw, but he's going to draw no matter what. He doesn't need to be in the main event. He could be the opening match at WrestleMania, dude, and he would still draw. Like, it's not like, oh, he's only going to be in a good position on Mania if he's in the main event. Mania tickets have been on sale since August. Like, they saw a record number of ticket sales, and that was 3 months. 3 months before, you know, Punk was even back in WWE. So if we're talking about like pushing the roster forward, stopping old patterns and booking of Vince McMahon, then Triple H making CM Punk win the Royal Rumble, that's like 18 steps back. That's not one step back. That's you're taking a moon launch backwards to me.
That's going straight back to Vince and potentially even Vince Sr. Like, seriously. And the thing is with that I'm kind of absorbing is that the wrestling fans just lack the ability to think critically. Like, they want CM Punk and Rollins so bad. They're like, oh, we'll just make him the Rumble. Like, no, there's a smart way to do this where the fans win, CM Punk wins, and Seth Rollins wins at the same time. And it is having it not be for a title, and also not at WrestleMania if you can get Stone Cold. If that's the big thing. I don't mind CM Punk Rollins at WrestleMania. That is not what we're arguing here.
Right.
For anyone who's confused.
It's the path that people think that he needs to take in order for that to happen. That's the problem that I have. He doesn't need to, because I understand that like the Money in the Bank is also meant to go to somebody who kind of needs that like push forward to get into the main event, or like, you know, has done so much that they're at a point where they deserve a title shot that they normally maybe wouldn't have gotten. But I've always felt like the Royal Rumble is kind of like that too, like a little bit secondary, obviously, because look at the list of winners. Like, plenty of them didn't need to win the Rumble to get a Mania a Mania match. But yeah, I think that if we had to choose, and the reason why Stone Cold's even in the conversation is because they've been teasing it, and that was something that looked like they were trying to have happen before he left. That's why it's being brought up again. And if you're going to ask anyone what they would rather see, CM Punk versus Stone Cold or CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be Stone Cold and CM Punk.
Never close.
So I don't care if it is CM Punk versus Seth Rollins at Mania. I just don't think the title needs to be involved, and I don't think the Royal Rumble needs to be the launching pad for that to happen, because I think that's like a giant slap in the face to all of the other dudes that have been busting their butt this past year to hopefully maybe get a shot at winning the Royal Rumble. Or, you know, it disrupts way too much. It disrupts, like, then it creates so many roadblocks for, and I'm not even on this bus, but like roadblocks for Cody to get back in against Roman, because a lot of people think that he should win the Rumble. And like, I would be more on board with Cody winning the Royal Rumble for the second year in a row than CM Punk winning it, so that he could, you know,
at least that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, like, I would hate it because I don't like the idea of someone winning it 2 years in a row. Like, I don't like
the same purpose.
Yes, but like that at least doesn't require like a backstory, real, you know what I mean? Like it makes sense. Like CM Punk doing it, it's just like, yeah, you're doing it because he just came back, and to me, it would almost be like you're trying to take a humongous shot at AEW by doing that. But what bigger shot at AEW would be than Punk versus Stone Cold? Are you kidding me?
Well, that's the biggest double birds to them.
Exactly.
Out of anything.
And it's like, no one would care about what he did at Wembley. You know what I mean? No one would be talking about it. It'd be like Stone Cold Steve Austin, dude. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you mean. I'm being the devil's advocate.
It's just, I don't know. Like, I just don't understand it. So
I
no.
I have nothing to what. Oh, you reading the comments?
Well, because Micah was arguing with me in the comments about it. He's very much on board that Punk needs to win because he's a draw.
Oh, Micah.
I know.
Micah, walk out that door. Walk out that door of the box and just take a walk and start thinking.
I can't agree. I can't, and it has nothing to do with like whether or not I like CM Punk. Like it literally has nothing to do with that.
No, this is just nothing to do with our feelings.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know. It's like I said, I don't even want to see Randy Orton win because to me, like,
no, I don't want to see Randy Orton win.
Especially he's on SmackDown now, so if he wants to face Roman or something, like he doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble. And plus, if we're supposed to say, okay, Roman versus Randy at Mania, okay, what about Cody? Like, there's just like a lot of situations that like would be too impacted by it.
Okay, this person, SM
Why?
Downage. I need to know this reasoning because I gotta be nice because Camp of the Peeps here, but at the same time, this is just as hollow as a take I've ever heard.
This is the thing that I think people aren't remembering, right? Is first of all, did we need to see Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold Steve Austin? Absolutely not.
No,
but like, did we all enjoy it? Yes, we did.
Yes.
But we also have to remember WrestleMania 40. This is going to be like, I know that they say it every single year, but when it's like at the decade mark, like that they're going to try and go above and beyond had it like no matter what other year, like just like WrestleMania 50 is going to be the biggest show of all. To me, Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin screams like new decade of a Mania. And like I saw Micah said it's 10 years too late. No, you guys, these are, and I'm not saying
Cold Steve Austin retired for like 1,000 years.
Well, and I'm not saying this is Micah, but it's like saying that that's 10 years too late are the same people who want to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns. What? Why do you want to see?
I'm on that train too.
No, but what I'm saying is you want to see The Rock in a match and win the championship, and you don't think that's too late? Bro's 50.
Hypocritical.
Like, that doesn't make any sense. Stone Cold was just at Mania. Like, that makes way more sense. And the thing is they have this history. Like, there are these video clips and these interviews of the tension of these two guys hating each other. And it's something that everyone, like, tried to forget about because then you were like, it's fantasy booking. It's never going to happen. Punk is never returning, blah, blah, blah. And for the most part, people didn't think that Stone Cold would ever get back in the ring. And the fact that he did.
Was the last time I was seeing him.
Yeah. So it's like, to me, I don't know. That makes sense. And it's not even the only thing that should happen. It's like Punk can have a different match. I just don't think it needs to involve the title, and it doesn't need to be because he won the Rumble.
It has nothing to do with the matchup. It is all about the title. Mm-hmm. So, my lemon, switching shows here. So I've seen a lot on social media about the AEW crowds and how they're empty and, they don't fill up and whatnot. Okay, so here's the thing. All those shows that they're doing the photos for are Collision and Rampage. As someone who's been to an AEW show and had to leave said AEW show at 10 o'clock to get up at 4 a.m., there was still at least an hour and a half of wrestling left to go. And on top of that, they do, for some cities, and it wasn't when I went, but for some cities, they do Ring of Honor tapings too. Because what their model is they want just fans to watch. Yeah, you're gonna get and the tickets and all that. Ticket sales are there, but you're dependent on the in-home viewer. That's where their demographic is. So be it. So because of that, you just need enough to not see seats for a hard camp. Fine. Because of that, and going back to my point, these shows are like they're recording these matches at like midnight, 12:30. And if I was watching BTE, the Behind the Elite, and they went to a backstage clip of them talking after a match or before match. It was before match. And it said that it was 1:30 in the morning and they still had an hour left of filming. So they're doing these matches for so long that fans are gonna leave. You're just gonna leave at some point because it's like, holy shit, I have to go be a person in like 7 hours and work my job or feed my kids or whatever adulting you have to do. And because of that, they can't stay till 1, 2 a.m. like a college kid. I wish I could have. Soar, who I went to the show with, I was like, dude, you stay, you need to absorb as much wrestling as possible and you'll love it. So he stayed and he was texting me, oh, this match is great, all this. And he's like, yeah, I got to go too. I have to be at work. So you have to think that way and not just go, oh, they aren't selling tickets. It's over, bro. No, AEW is doing fine when it comes to that. They just grossed $75 million last year or $175 million. There's a big difference. I forget right now, but the point is they are grossing enough where they're not losing money. So they have a different business model.
That can be true of some shows, but I also think that you have to like look at like clips where it's like half the arena is like blacked off, like so that fans, they didn't sell those tickets. It's for Collision, at least. Collision seems like a complete waste of time to me.
See, that I agree with. Because
that's where all these videos come out. All these videos of them performing in front of literally like 25 people. Yeah. I just saw that clip. It's always Collision. And I understand trying to expand the brand and put out more product and whatever, but like it seems like, first of all, it's unfair to the talent. Like they're supposed to be like top stars in the company and in the professional wrestling world. And they're not back in the indies performing in front of 15 people in the middle of a school cafeteria anymore. So then if you have like that many people out at a Collision show, what are we doing? Like, why are they out there?
Yeah, they depend on their TV views more than anything. Christian, according to WrestleTix, only 2.8 tickets were sold on Collision. And
but then you also have to take into consideration those are tickets that were sold, but that doesn't take into account how many of them are going to be resellers that are trying to resell the tickets also. That's the thing that like WWE didn't take into account when they said, we sold out of Mania or whatever, or we sold a million, whatever. And it's like, yeah, but look at how many of them have already ended up on StubHub and like TickPick and like SeatGeek, like
all those.
So, yeah.
Collision was made for Punk, and that's why nobody goes to that show. I mean, yeah, Collision was and will go down. I have a feeling that you and I are going to be interviewed about this one day where we talk about the downfall of Collision. Because, manifested Sara. So, and because of that, it's just a flop because you have this guy you brought in all this, you make a show for him, and now you're stuck with a show. Then you have a guy like Daniel Bryan who's going to be the face of it. He gets hurt and is wrestling with a recently surgically repaired orbital bone, and he's wearing an eye patch, being patchy out there. All right, well, that didn't work because he's hurt now. You had Adam Copeland being the guy on the show. I don't know what happened to having Bullet Club Gold be the top guys on the show. I thought that was a great idea. So it feels just like a revolving door of different big name stars trying to hold it up. And it's just getting too heavy for one person or group. So they just keep passing it off.
The main problem is that Tony's just trying to do too much too soon. That's the problem. So that's what I've been saying.
Like,
just accept where you're at, learn and grow, and then work on things and like expand when it's appropriate.
My only real quarrel I'll say I have with AEW, and this goes into the All In. How are you like already right now trying to sell tickets for this? Like, it feels like, going off of your point about the too much too fast, how did you announce you'll be back next year at the main event of All In, and you're trying to sell these tickets now? Like, I don't know. If you wanted to make All In be like your WrestleMania, why don't you kind of follow their template
Mm-hmm.
and then just use your own? I feel like promoting something for an entire year is just worthless.
Well, and you don't sell tickets a year in advance. Like even
You
WWE
know,
put
they
tickets
don't
on
even
sale in like August for an April show.
exactly.
And I mean, with the chaos that happens in AEW, like you don't know who's going to be there in a year from now. You know, it's like
No.
CM Punk was dropped unexpectedly. So if you're buying tickets to go to a show a year in advance because you want to go see somebody like CM Punk, then okay, then he's dropped in 2 weeks from now. Like why? Like you just wasted your money and now you're going to try and resell them. So
It's I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all. I think it's a little bit absurd, but whatever. So that's what we thought was great and not so great this week in the world of wrestling. But what the fuck is going on? Because there's so much going on in the wrestling world. We only just touched upon what we liked and didn't like. All right, now we have to talk about the actual, meat and potatoes, actual news going on that cycle. Okay, enough of that. So I want to start with this. This happened recently week. Jade Cargill made a comment saying how WWE, she has been so impressed with the professionalism at WWE, talking about how when you walk in, you automatically just feel a different vibe when you walk in there. And Sarah, it's just the least shocking thing I've ever heard come from a wrestler, especially one of that, how green she really is in the grand scheme of things. And then kind of going off that, how they have no real plans for her right now to make her in-ring debut. I think this goes with the professionalism, because you could have a company like AEW that kind of did it already. They threw the TBS championship on her. She had that undefeated streak, but who did she beat? Just like a bunch of indie people mixed in with some wily vets to add, some stature to the title reign. Here in WWE, it's a different style. It is a completely different style of wrestling. It is a completely different style of television. They just do things a little bit different, but it's better at the end of the day. And you need to go through essentially some schooling, to go through it and be successful at it. They're just taking their time with Jade because you see it. I see it. We all see it. She has that aura, that star power around her, that if you throw that in too quick, you're gonna burn her out and no one's gonna really care about her. You have to find where she fits into your team and then utilize her to the best of her ability. I think it's smart.
I think it's smart too, because I mean, they went with like heavily promoting her when they first signed her. And I think that was the right move. And I think that teasing her going to Raw, SmackDown, or NXT was the right move, because that was a question that a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, like, where's she going to go? And who's she going to feud with? And so the fact that they kind of allowed her to plant these seeds early, I think was a good thing, because now people are going to be like, oh, okay, where is she going to go? And things have even changed since then, because Nick Aldis is around now. So as the GM of SmackDown, so that changes things. And I think, something like having her debut at the Royal Rumble, have her be number 30 in the Women's Royal Rumble. What a hell of a way for her to debut. Like, to me, that would be iconic, and that's memorable for a lot of people. She doesn't have to win the Rumble, but that can be the way that she starts a feud, like, maybe if she's going to Raw, she starts something with Rhea, or she starts something with Becky, or if she's going to SmackDown, maybe Charlotte is still in there in the final 5 or final 4. I think that this gives them enough time to, first of all, allow her to get comfortable in a new atmosphere, because she's saying stuff about the professionalism. Yeah, because it's a very different company that is a veteran, obviously. I mean, they basically are like the creators of all of this, so they are very well in tuned with how to run things. But I think it also gives her them the time to think of like a good storyline, instead of just rushing her out and then trying to figure it out after that. This gives them months to be like, okay, no, so if she debuts at the Rumble, this is how it's going to go after the Rumble, like, instead of like, if they signed her a week before the Rumble, then they're like, yep, okay, you're debuting in the Rumble, and then we'll figure it out after that and see how it goes. Like, this at least gives them the proper time to think of a good way to introduce her to the WWE audience and like get them excited about it, instead of just throwing her out there because all the hype was around the fact that they signed her from AEW,
Yeah. And she doesn't need to debut right now.
No,
As
it's
bad
in
as
the
that
middle of a
sounds,
dead part of.
it's not even the dead part though. To me, there's so much going on, and there's other people that need to be highlighted. I mean, for God's sakes, we just saw Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell in the way. We like kind of saw that being teased. I want to see more from the Alpha Academy, Creed Brothers, and New Day, whatever backstage shenanigans that they're getting into. I don't just throw something in right now just to throw something in, the shiny new toy, just to say you have it. Let's wait a bit. When is the right time to put them in and put them in the mix? I see no need to debut right now. I love all of this news, all of it, because we're gonna see her. We're gonna see her Mania. I mean, come on.
I know.
You don't just bring her to the Big 12 championship and not
I know.
put her on the Mania card.
Mm-hmm.
I want my own title. Rude. A Braun Strowman return update. Let me get the article so I have the numbers correct here, because so basically, not basically, Braun Strowman, he is on the road back to wrestling again. He is aiming for a 2024, obviously, return. He had one checkup visit, and then he has another 5 months, or he just got cleared to lift weights. Then he has 5 months, and then after the 5 months, he can get cleared to go in the ring, and then he'll, obviously go from there. So it's, I would say, around like 6 months until we
Well, that's just
see.
getting clear to do stuff in the ring. That's not clear to come back.
No, I'm saying like the 5 months, and then
Yeah.
he gets, and then he'll have a month of training in the ring. I think that's when we'll see like 6 months teases, if they want to. If they do the
Maybe.
Veer is coming type
Mhm.
of tease for Braun to come back. But at least it shows that Braun Strowman is going to be returning at some point. He said that his goal for 2024 is to get back in the ring so that he can prove that he can still do this. I love this. I was someone that wasn't the biggest fan of Braun, and I would majority of that blame put on Vince and the booking of him, because he is a lot more athletic and whatever you call it, athletic than he appears because of his
Mhm.
size. And you can do more of them. We saw his program that he was doing with Ricochet.
Mhm.
There's a place for him in this WWE, and if there's a place for him, I want to see it happen, and he definitely wants to see it happen. So I'm all for it.
Well, and he said he wants to come back and do it for Bray. So, because like when I was seeing this, like, it sounds horrible, but I almost like forgot about Braun, just because it's like so much has been going on, and he had just only like come back, and then there was this stuff with Ricochet, and then he just like abruptly left because of injury, and then it's like he fell off the face of the planet, basically. So it was like easy to forget that he was even back and doing anything. And so I was like, all right, like everything is just like moving forward and fast. So I'm like, all right. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad, because neck, back injuries are always serious. Like, it's crazy. It's never guaranteed that they are able to come back. So it's good to see that another wrestler who was injured. I think it was a neck injury, that he is actually on the road to recovery, because like that's scary and he's so young for that to be over. I think my main thing that I'm interested in, and I know it's still quite a ways away, but I'd be curious to see how they try to bring him back. Because he had his world title run, which was horrific. But then like right before he left, he was doing tag team stuff. So it's like, I just kind of wonder, like, where is the WWE going to be at by the time that he can come back? So it's like, how does he fit into that?
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, the possibilities. And yeah, let's go with another return update. All right, AJ
Whoops.
Styles. He was supposed to return about a month ago, 4 weeks to be exact, and he did not. And it's being reported by Meltzer himself that AJ Styles will be returning on Friday. So
Oh,
potentially we could have
was he just
CM
out?
Punk.
Was he just out with like a fake injury?
No, he had his knee scoped.
He had his what?
His knee scoped.
Oh, okay. So that's why they wrote him off. Well, because I was like, I know that they were trying to say that he like left this earth and became an angel due to Solo. Yeah. So I didn't know if that was all it was or if there was more to it. But I want to see an AJ Styles return, and I want them to use him appropriately, because I miss that version of AJ Styles that was on TV every single week and was just like, I get excited because I want to have that feeling again of like when AJ debuted at the Rumble, and like you just get so excited about the possibilities of like, oh my God, AJ Styles is in WWE. Like, and I want to get back to having that excitement and not the like disappointment, because like, yeah, AJ just put on a killer match, but like they don't have anything for him. There's no storylines, there's nothing. So I would love to see that. There's also rumors of him facing Roman,
Mr. Tribal Chief himself.
Yeah, but then it also seems like they're trying to do that with Randy. So maybe Randy gets the first shot, maybe he gets him at Rumble, and then maybe AJ gets him at Elimination Chamber or something. I don't know, but
I don't know.
See.
AJ Styles low key is one of my favorite wrestlers
He's
of
not
all time.
It's not low key. It's we know.
Okay, well, AJ Styles is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and when he's at this point, I want to see him in high profile matches. So if he is going to be in one of those, then have him be one-on-one. But I want to see the club. I want to see Gallows. I want to see Anderson. I want to see Michin. I want to see all of them in some sort of feud, backstage segment, matches.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see that, because it seems like AJ Styles at the point where he doesn't need another title right now. He doesn't need to be doing this, that, the other thing. He just needs to be on TV. And putting him in the club, having them on TV too, it enhances the whole strength in numbers type of theme that they're going with right now. It's got to happen. And the club is so entertaining.
I know. I wish that it had worked out when Finn was like in it,
I know,
I
but
wanted that so bad. He
he
found his group. But see, this is the thing. Him being a part of Judgment Day is like my dream come true of him being like in the club. It's like this is what I wanted for him, but as a part of the club, So if that was not going to work and that was never in the plans for Finn, then I'm glad that we have Judgment Day Finn, because at least I'm getting something, but it's basically like everything that he's been doing. This is what I wish had happened with like AJ and Luke and Carl. Like, oh my God.
Need it. All right, you want to talk about Mr. Y2J himself?
Okay.
All right, we got a couple banners about Lionheart, Judas, whatever you want to call him, Chris Jericho,
the Ayatollah of rock and rolla.
That was one of my favorite lines he ever had. Oh, welcome to Raw. Is
Jericho. That's such okay. We've talked about it before, but that has to be one of the most iconic debuts ever, especially at a time period where they weren't wanting you to watch the other company. But Jericho walked in like, you know who the hell I am. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to say this. And I don't need to introduce myself. Like, you don't need to know who I am. You already know. Like, that was huge for that time because, like, I mean, even we were just talking about AJ Styles. Like, people knew who AJ Styles was, but, like, they didn't acknowledge that he, you know, like, came from that at that time, like, a rival company. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. There was just like, that was interesting for that when that happened 24 years ago or whatever it was.
It was crazy. That was a wild time. God. But yeah, Chris Jericho back in the news again after going on a podcast and saying how everyone should work for Vince McMahon for at least 6 months, I think it was, or whatever the time frame. But he was pretty much saying how they could learn so much from Vince because he's been around the business for so long. Let me find the actual article here. It started off by saying, someone tweeted that, is this a joke that Chris Jericho is saying something positive about WWE? But no, I mean, he is 1,000% right. If my computer would friggin' load right now, I can get some verbatim quotes here. Oh my lord, this is bad. Where is this friggin' okay, it's not loading. But so oh my god, why is this not loading? Never mind. Okay. Pretty much Jericho talking about how everyone should work for Vince because they learned so much in the industry by working under Vince for WWE, and then a Twitter account came at him and called him out for saying, "Wow, you are saying something nice about WWE when pretty much all your podcasts, which no lie there really, are trashing the product of WWE." And if there's one person who could say things like that about WWE and have it not be totally malicious, it would be Chris Jericho. He's saying this from a point of view of just the business. It's a business at the end of the day. And I mean, who better to learn from than the dude who made it to what it is? And yes, he's out of touch and whatnot, but I mean, he still has some nuggets of wisdom at the end of the day, and you can learn a lot. And that's all Chris Jericho is really saying.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to work for Vince McMahon, but I think there's plenty of reasons why people would understand that. But he's not wrong. Like, I mean, there's a reason why AEW exists. Like, it's because they wanted to have an alternative to the premier wrestling company on the face of the planet. It's not just like in America, it's like the planet worldwide. And there's a reason why people grew up wanting to be wrestlers. They wanted to be in WWE. They wanted to be at WrestleMania. And that continues to be a thing. Like, they just brought in former college or professional athletes that are like looking to further themselves in a physical and athletic sense, for a career, and they're going to WWE because they are like, they recognize like how good the product is and like how they are able to incorporate the skills that they learned through whatever sport they were doing, and then they just have to build upon that, obviously. Like, so there, Vince, I wouldn't even say he only built the foundation of professional wrestling. He built the house,
He
so
did.
If you're going to learn anything about, or if you want to learn anything about professional wrestling, then yeah, you do want to talk to Vince McMahon. I mean, Tony Khan should talk to Vince McMahon, like, so I don't think this was controversial. I understand why people are saying you're saying something good. Yeah, because we're about to talk about something where like he's not saying stuff that's good, and it is like every other week he's talking about WWE, and it's generally not the most positive. And I don't know that it's necessarily just because he's like, this is just how it is. I think that there might be some hidden rooted animosity there. I don't know, but
yeah. Pretty much you talked about how Vince his work ethic is really unmatched, and how he wouldn't do something that he wouldn't do, or ask somebody to do something that he wouldn't do himself. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's one of the qualities of a good leader. And right now, I mean, it's tough to hear that right now about Vince McMahon with everything that has gone on and happened. But that's Vince now. That wasn't, there was some good in Vince, obviously. I mean, look at the early 2000s, whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's, you have to look at it from that point of view.
Mhm.
And I mean, those types of stories, you hear so much about how, what a revolutionary Vince was. And yeah. So, all right, next Jerichoholic topic, because we're talking about WWE. He had some great things to say about Vince McMahon. However, he talked about the WWE Hall of Fame and how he is not interested in said Hall of Fame because it doesn't exist. There is no physical WWE Hall of Fame where you can relive those moments. It's all made up in the mind of WWE, he said. And here's my thing with Jericho. I agree with him 50%. Because he is right. There is no physical Hall of Fame. I think you and I have talked about this multiple times on the show. I've vented this out to my family, friends, that there absolutely needs to be a Hall of Fame. If you look at professional sports, which is what they try to mimic their product as, they all have Hall of Fames. You have Cooperstown, you have Canton. Hockey has one up in Canada, and I got one in my own backyard, the really, really deep woods of the backyard up in Springfield. And those are a great place to recognize the greats. And not only is it a great place to recognize the greats, it is a cash cow.
Oh yeah.
WWE is all about how can we make money off of the stupidest effing thing. That's what the WWE shop is really at the end of the day. Why wouldn't you do that and have a Hall of Fame where you have probably the most loyal fans in all of business? From professional sports, entertainment, whatever, some of the most loyal fans ever that travel all over the world, spend an absorbent amount of money on tickets, merchandise. I mean, hello. They are craving for a Hall of Fame, a physical Hall of Fame. How has it not been done yet, especially with all the nonsense that's in your warehouse?
Well, and that's why I think that it would be like, it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to put a physical building in Connecticut or even New York because it's not too far. So if you were hoping for like a better destination, I guess, but even like Connecticut's not that far from like Philly or New York. So it's like someone can make a trip out of, like, oh, we're going to spend the night in Connecticut, wherever near Stamford, so that we can go to the Hall of Fame, like I think that it's the best idea because if the warehouse is right there, you could even like switch things out or have like a holiday thing where it's like, okay, you have just this for these few months, like this what is it? Not like
Exhibit?
yes, exhibit. Like stuff like that. Like I think that it's a good idea and I would go, and like you said, that's the only part of what I agree with Jericho, because I think that like otherwise the Hall of Fame is not fake, like it's not
No.
just made up. It's like, no, we are acknowledging the best of the best at the sport. And so to me it's like, if you're only taking it as, yeah, okay, we get a ring or the acknowledgement and that's it, and then it doesn't matter, like I'm pretty sure most of the professional athletes in football, baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever, they would have been totally fine with being enshrined in the Hall of Fame if all they got was a ring. Like I don't think that any of them would be complaining that there isn't a Hall of Fame where their name is like plaqued or something, it's like, no, because
Yeah.
you're still being acknowledged for everything that you brought to the sport and all that you accomplished. So I don't know that, like, I feel like that is kind of a weird take from him, but I
It
mean,
is a weird take.
if it just seems like all of the focus of it is just that the fact that there's not a building. And I just wonder, I'm like, have you ever felt this way? Or like what, like, have you always felt this way? Or like, are
Yeah.
you just feeling this way now because people are saying that they think that you should go in the Hall of Fame? Like, I'm just like, I don't know.
Dumbing it down, and because he plays for the other team right now,
Yeah.
it would
Yeah.
be a controversial take and whatnot. But this
Yeah.
is kind of controversial in the sense that you're saying that it doesn't really exist when I believe it does. You know, I think the best thing about a wrestling fan is their memory, and their memories are of you at your best and when you were at your peak of your life and whatnot, and you know, making history while you were making history for them, and the fan also was probably going through something historic too, watching you
Yeah.
achieve that. So to me, it's just a very uh, you know, it's sad is an easy way to put it.
Yeah.
It's a sad take because anytime you're recognized for something, it's really nice. So, and especially the career he's had, and he wouldn't be where he is without WWE. So,
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
just all right. Question: Who is the devil? And no, not Lucifer. Okay, we're talking about some elite wrestling. Um, Last night, I didn't choose this as my rosebud because I wanted to save it for this. So last night, for anyone who is an AEW watcher like myself, I know David, one of the D squareds, is maybe Vinny too. Who knows? Last night we were supposed to see Samoa Joe and MJF taking on the Devil's Henchmen. However, beforehand, we see Adam Hangman Page and MJF get into a little, heated argument, promo battle, whatever you want to call it, before MJF accuses him of being the devil. And then as soon as you think you're about to have some fisticuffs be thrown, Samoa Joe bolts over there and protects Max and says, "You better get your mind right and focus on this match. We don't need this type of shenanigans happening because you already got us into some shenanigans with this devil." And as Joe comes out to the ring, the lights flicker. 4 devilmen, whatever you want to call them, surround the ring, and then the lights go out. Joe's all alone in the ring, and we see the cameraman running backstage to MJF laid out backstage on the ground, face down, with shattered glass, a shattered beer bottle, a real glass beer bottle, if anyone is catching my undertone. So it begs the question, okay, because Ringside News is talking about it. You know, the IWC, they're talking about it too. So let's talk about it, you and I. Who do we believe is the devil? And I kind of want your opinion too, as the outsider, who you just, from what you've seen, have an inkling.
Well, I don't really have an inkling, honestly. But I did
Oh.
see that people are thinking it's James Storm.
That was my tweet. So I tweeted that last night because the glass bottle. And as soon as they flashed it, I just looked at the TV. I was like, "Oh, sorry about his damn luck." And I laughed to myself
What do you
way
think?
too hard down here.
What do you think the reaction would be if it was James Storm? Because I feel like
Gobbledygooker type vibes.
I
Seriously.
think that I think no matter who it is, AEW is going to be damned if they do and damned if they don't. I think that no matter who it is, it's going to cause an uproar. Like there's just going to be so many people pissed off. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be celebrating too, but I feel like people are making this out to be so many different people, or they're even like making it out to be someone so big and like influential and like this person we never thought would be here. Like I think they're kind of a lot of people are potentially setting themselves up to be disappointed. And so I think that like I don't think it's a bad storyline. Like I don't blame them for trying to keep it secret and like have this guy doing whatever, but I think that they might want to like reveal the identity maybe a little bit sooner than they anticipated, because I think the longer they drag it out, like the worse the reaction is going to be if it is not someone that people think it should be. And I think James Storm would not be someone that they want.
No, yeah, James Storm, it's definitely not. He even tweeted at Tony. Someone asked him about it, and he said that no, when I was at a bar when it happened, I was tagging Tony Khan in the tweet. Like, it's not James Storm. A lot of people said that it might be Adam Hangman Page because if you remember, I mean, he beer drinking cowboy, obviously does cowboy shit, and he was drinking a beer bottle. I forget what promo it was when Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, all that outside the hospital. So there's a call back there. My favorite theory that I've heard is because it was real glass. They're thinking Jack Perry because of his comments that he made about it's real glass, Cry Me a River. And his suspension is over. So the timing kind of coincides a little bit.
That's who I kind of want it to be, just because as someone who doesn't watch, I would just love to see the implosion of all the people online that were like hoping it was going to be like, I don't even know who ridiculous they thought it would be. Like
CM Punk was one, I swear to God.
Okay, yeah, something like that ridiculous, you know, like I would just love to see those people disappointed, but I'm like, that's because you're putting way too much into this. It's probably going to be more disappointing than to a lot of people than it is going to be exciting. So
I heard someone say that they want it to be Tony Khan, and I lost it.
It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's the broken glass at the beginning of his song. Glass. So it's Stone Cold.
Great observation, Sarah.
Yeah,
that is a really good observation. I would love it to be Jack Perry. I also have a strange inkling. It's also MJF himself, and how him and Roddy somehow became like best friends and are saying like F Adam. Adam!
Well, I mean, and that wouldn't be too shocking since he was found like on the ground. Like no one saw what happened. No one saw anything. Like no one heard anything. They just found him like asleep, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think of the whole Adam thing? Have you seen those clips?
No.
Oh, Roderick Strong now just anytime he enters frame, he just screams the person's name. So obviously with Adam, but now he's doing it to Samoa Joe. He goes, Samoa Joe. And then last night when he was being interviewed, which they did the WWE thing, they brought Renee Paquette out to the front of the entrance ramp and had to do an interview with Roderick Strong there. And they wheeled him out. The Kingdom wheeled him out. And Renee asked him the question, and he just goes, Renee! Like he's just screaming everyone's name. It's so stupid, but so brilliant. And he talks like he cuts this unbelievable heartfelt promo about how he's done being held behind and kept back. And he's sitting in the wheelchair. And then all of a sudden, he just gets up from the wheelchair. And Taz, I actually marked out a little bit and laughed my ass off to myself down here when he stands up and you can hear Taz over commentary go, oh, it's a goddamn miracle. it's like the little stuff like that is what just gets me. Oh, that's how you know. All right. Well, we're talking about CM Punk a little bit. Let's keep it going. Freddie Prinze Jr. said on a podcast how he wished the CM Punk promo went a little bit different. He wanted CM Punk to come out pretty much corporate clean in a suit and tie, which would have been very unlike CM Punk. And he said that his last words in his promo should have been his first, saying that he's not here to make friends, he's here to make money. And that's what should have kicked off the promo, which I believe should have. That would have been a nice little start. But the suit and tie, no. Let's know who. I spelled it wrong. I am just the worst speller. I didn't get my mom's jeans. I got my dad's jeans with that. I like that idea, Freddie. Okay. Problem is, I think that it was what? Oh,
my chair just went down.
You did just sink a little bit.
I know, my chair went down. Sorry.
I don't really care for more intensity and aggression. I thought it was fine, and I like how he referenced the pipe bomb still. I wasn't really expecting much from this first promo.
I wasn't either, but oh my gosh, the idea of having corporate Punk. To me, that would have been so iconic, because then it would be like, it would almost be kind of funny, because he would be coming, off the heels of having this crazy time at AEW, being fired during a weekend of shows in Chicago, apparently threatening the life of like the owner of the company, and then he makes the unthinkable return to WWE, and he's all like buttoned up, and like you would almost be like, oh, okay, he's trying to be on his best behavior, like this is his way of trying to get in the good graces of everybody, because like, oh yeah, no, he's the corporate guy now, like he's serious and whatever. Like it would be kind of funny, because like, I mean, you don't see that from Punk at all. He's tattooed. He's like,
all
just
that,
like,
yeah.
he's not clean cut. Like that would be interesting, but I don't know where that would go, because they're not really using like those people on TV. Like Triple H is not a figure on television. So like when we saw the corporate side of Kane or the corporate side of Seth Rollins, it was because Johnny Ace and Triple H and whatever were mainstays on TV at that time. Right now, they're trying to get away from that. And so I think that would be the biggest reason why that wouldn't have worked. And it wouldn't have been embraced, because people would know that it was like an act,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is what he had to do. He had to just be like authentically him. Like, was it underwhelming? Sure. But the fact that he had that incredible return at Survivor Series that everyone is still talking about, like, I don't know what they were expecting him to say. Like,
that's my thing. Is like, he's not going to come back to WWE and immediately just start shitting on the competition. Like, that's not how things work. I have really no like strong feelings one way or one side or the other to his promo. I do wish that some things were changed in the way they were said, but other than that, like, I have no real strong feelings about it. I just thought this was an interesting little tidbit from former writer of WWE, Freddie Prinze Jr.
I think people just want to be like upset about something. Again, like I said, like
100%.
People build things up into their mind about how something should be or how they want it to be, and this is the only way that it can be. And then when it doesn't happen, it's like they're so disappointed that they then take it out on everyone else, and it's like, no, you just had like unrealistic expectations. So
yeah, you gotta lessen your expectations, people. All right, the world ain't all sunshines and rainbows, as a former boxer once said. So yeah, and then Sara, unfortunately, I think this is time to play it. So I got it.
No yields.
That's right, Jimmy.
This kind of surprised me, I think. I'm not surprised that it's like trademarked or copywritten or whatever. I'm more shocked that WWE isn't trying harder to buy it from the guy, because like I think that, I mean, I can't imagine that this is bringing in a ton of money for the guy who decided to trademark it. I can't. It's to me, I feel like WWE could easily give him like a hefty payday, but I guess maybe they don't think that it's worth doing that. But I feel like this could have been like a huge marketing thing for Jay, and so it's kind of a missed opportunity to not try and pursue it.
Oh, it's an extremely missed opportunity. So for anyone who has been living under a rock with my boy Mr. Star, Jey Uso, who has coined his new catchphrase "Yeet," cannot use it anymore, and it is because there is an indie wrestler named Casey Hoffman out of West Virginia who owns the trademark and has owned the trademark since 2021, and it is actually not news, but now fact, that WWE has taken all the Yeet shirts off of the WWE shop and classified or categorized them as sold out. And yeah, Sara, I could not agree more that they're missing out on a huge opportunity for t-shirts, all merchandise, whatever, because of an indie guy. You could give him 200 grand, and I think that'd be a nice little hefty payday for him to just get rid of the word yeet.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not gonna, and this thing too, you're not gonna stop fans from chanting it. All right, like they're gonna chant it. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing you've done is taken out the element that you can get paid from it, which is the dumbest out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the inevitable are fans are gonna chant yeet at him. We're probably gonna do it when he fights at Mania. It's dumb to me. It's just dumb.
Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, they had already made t-shirts and stuff, and I feel like it's kind of weird that they didn't do their homework, because I feel
Yeah.
like, I mean, they've been bad at doing that before, you know. I mean, the infamous tag team name of Paige, remember? And it was a prawn name, and so they had to change
Oh,
the
yeah.
stage name. So it's like
Not
they
far
have a
off from her.
history of not doing that, but yeah, so I'm just kind of surprised about this, because I'm like, this would have been huge for
It would have been
Mania up,
massive.
but I mean, that's
Oh,
on them.
David from the good old state of West Virginia. Mama,
Okay, let's
take
go.
me home. Okay,
Well, it's
all
getting
right.
late. It's getting
It
late.
is. We are crushing it, and I think it's time for us to hit that final count. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. All right, number 1. Did you see this viral clip? I had to
Yes.
talk about this because this is I need to do this. Not I. We need to do this, Sarah, as a team. A nice little PSA.
Oh.
Do not fall for these accounts. Okay, for anyone who doesn't know, there's a viral video going out right now of a couple that was interviewed by one of those man on the street type of TikToks. They asked to go through each other's phones, how much trust you have in the relationship, yada, yada, yada. And the wife is going through her husband's Snapchat and finds out that he has been Snapchatting naughty texts with a faux Liv Morgan. And when asked who Liv Morgan is, everyone knows, WWE wrestler. And they're pretty racy texts. I don't need to go into it. All I need to say to you guys is if a wrestler reaches out to you and is trying to befriend you like this, it's a scam. Okay, it is a catfish. Get away, run away from it. It is just someone that's trying to use you, and they don't fall for it. And she even reposted
Yeah.
the video and said something like, "Oh," like with an
This
emoji.
is it's something like this, but I think it was in a, I don't know if it was like an Alexa Bliss or something. It's like what led to that guy attacking Seth like during Raw. It was a situation like that where like the guy had been allegedly like messaging with I think it was like Alexa Bliss or something like that. Yeah, I think I find it sad how often people fall for these, because like I feel like common sense is lacking if you really think that a wrestler would create a private Snapchat or a private Instagram and be messaging you and like being interested in you, but never meeting you and maybe asking you for money and like stuff like that. Like, it's sad to me that there are people, so many people out there that continue to fall for this. And I mean, there's a reason why they fall for this, because people target them. But like, I mean, this guy's relationship deserved to be over. Like, I feel bad for the woman, because I think he said they had been together for 8 years. I feel bad for her because she was blindsided, but he can't be doing that type of stuff and think that's okay.
No,
Like,
not at all.
this is the punishment you deserve, you know?
1,000%. And I mean, I've had accounts, Liv Morgan 4576,
Yeah.
slide in and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Liv,
I just had like, I've
Taylor
had
Swift."
this year alone, I've had a fake Ludwig Kaiser, John Cena, The Rock, like all a fake Trish Stratus, like on my Instagram, on my Twitter, like all of them have followed me and tried to message me, and I never once was like, "Oh, this is the real them," like, you
Yeah,
know?
no. And they post from you. Here's the thing. You follow their real account.
I know.
Like, that's the thing. You follow it. We all do.
Yeah.
Like, so if you don't know it and the profile doesn't match up,
Yeah.
then
But it's because they convince themselves that they have a secret account.
Yeah, that it's meant to be, and this
just
is why
for
I'm
you.
yeah,
Just
like,
for you.
did you ever see a video of the dude on Catfish who thought he was mentioning Katy Perry?
Yes, I know.
Oh
And
my
then
god.
even after he knew that it wasn't her, he was like, well, it still could be her.
Yeah, it's all delusion. I just
Yeah.
don't be that guy. That's what we're saying. Just be careful out there, okay?
Yeah.
All right. This one will be quick, but two, it is Royal Rumble season, and we are getting to that point where I am rewatching Royal Rumbles. Problem is, I've done this so many times. I'm trying to do some new things with it. So, if anyone has some suggestions, that'd be great. Sarah, how are you preparing for the Royal Rumble this year?
I am not right now.
Oh,
I
sad.
have a lot of other stuff to do right now.
Oh, sorry.
Like,
You're firing the muskets.
yeah, and I'm trying
You're
to get a
firing all the muskets.
promotion. So
That's what I'm saying. You're trying to fire those muskets extra hard. So I get it. You're in the trenches.
yes.
I got my peeps all squared away at the Gazette, and obviously wrestling trumps everything.
Well, and fish.
Oh, and fish, yeah, work is real tough. It's getting up at 4 a.m. to go sell fish to high-end restaurants. It is a hell of a life. So we have to come home and decompress somehow, and I choose to do so by the great world of wrestling. And since it's Royal Rumble season, I'd like to watch some things. So if anyone has some recommendations on it, please hit us up. You know where to find us. And I rewatched the Royal Rumble, though. I've been watching old 90s ones. Very weird. You can really tell a difference in product. It's unbelievable. And just a quick announcement, too. We will be doing our Rumble pool again, Sarah. We're going to be doing our Rumble pool. And honestly, at this point, I'll open it up. We just need 10 people. All right. That's really it. I'll open it up to anybody. I don't care. We're show the peeps. So more on that later. And then 3, to wrap up, quick fun game. Sarah, 20 questions. You and I are going to think of a wrestler, and we have to guess. So,
okay.
Ladies first.
Okay, so are you guessing?
I have one. If you have one, I'll guess, but I have one.
I have one. I have one.
Okay. Do you want me to go first, or do you want?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. Male or female?
Female.
WWE or AEW?
WWE.
NXT or main roster?
Main roster.
Raw, SmackDown?
Both.
Both.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this kind of threw me through a loop. Do they have blonde hair? Is it Charlotte?
No.
Oh. Blonde hair. Have they been champion?
Hold on. I have to double check. Yes.
Are they a champion now?
No.
Are they part of a faction?
Is this someone who does it have to be someone right now? Like on the roster right now? Okay. No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, how many are you at?
I'm at 9.
Okay.
Is it Michelle McCool?
No.
Okay. Are they on the roster right now? I'm at 11.
No.
Oh. Is it Lacey Evans?
No.
Oh man. Oh, have they won Money in the Bank?
No.
Oh. Shit. Trying to be quick. Are they small, like in size, like height?
I mean, it's a woman. I don't know exactly how tall she is. I mean,
Like
I would say she's average. Like
why can't I think of anything? Is it Maurice?
No. Was that like 15?
It's 15. I give up.
Are you sure? Really?
No, I don't. I can't give up.
Okay.
We don't give up. Oh, if I could have some help from the comments, it'd be great. If anyone wants to help the champ, if not, I got it. It's fine. Not in a faction right now. Not on the main roster right now, but was. Have they wrestled in the past year?
No.
No. Okay, that's good. It's 16.
Well, you said it could be anybody, so
Is it Terry Runnels?
no.
Damn it, David. At 17. Oh, why there's so many blonde? You said both? Oh, did they pose for Playboy?
No.
Damn it. That was gonna be
Two more.
Oh my god. Are they known for being a Divas champion or what? More for being a Divas champion?
Yes. You have one more question.
Okay. So they're known for being a Divas champion. I already saw Michelle McCool, blonde. Is it at? No. That's not my. No, she was. Oh my god, why can't I blonde? And I already said Trish.
You already said Trish.
Oh,
you're gonna be so mad when you hear who it is.
I'm gonna hate myself. I know I am.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of it? No, if they didn't date David, they didn't pose for Playboy. Oh my god, why am I blanking?
And he would know. He is a connoisseur.
No, David, the one who turns heel.
I know. I'm saying you are a connoisseur of who posed for Playboy.
Oh, I would know. I would. Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Okay,
come on, one more.
I can't think. I'm trying. Oh my lord. They did not wrestle. Have they been in a Royal Rumble?
No.
Okay, I failed. Who is it?
You know you want me. You can't take your eyes away from me. I'm the hottest thing since sliced bread. Come on now.
Oh, that was annoying. Okay.
Maybe you should pick one that's like more relevant then.
I already had one that was very relevant. So
okay, so I can start now.
You can start now.
Is it a man?
It is a man.
Okay. You're taking number.
I'm doing the hands.
Okay, it's a man. Have they been WWE or Universal Champion?
Yes, they have.
Are they involved in a storyline right now?
Technically no.
Are they a tag team wrestler?
Currently no.
Are they known for being a tag team wrestler?
No.
Okay. Do they have a first and last name?
Yes.
Were they on Raw this week?
No.
Were they on SmackDown last week?
Yes.
They were on SmackDown, but they didn't wrestle.
Wait.
Or did they wrestle? Did they wrestle on SmackDown?
Yes.
Okay, so they wrestled on SmackDown. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's 9.
9. Okay. They wrestled on SmackDown. Is it Bobby Lashley?
It is not.
Not Bobby. So I have 10 more. Ooh.
10.
Is it
Yeah, a lot harder when the shoe's on the other foot.
I would say So they're not involved in a storyline right now?
Technically, no.
Well, it's not Pete Dunne.
No, it's not Pete Dunne. It's 11.
Who else was LA Knight? Is it LA
No, they
Knight?
wrestled in a match. No.
Oh, they wrestled in a match. Well, it
All
wasn't.
right. You know
it's
what?
Not,
For the storyline thing, because I feel like it could be a technicality. Technically, they aren't, but they are in a storyline.
okay.
It's not a main one.
Ridge Holland.
Oh no, colder.
Oh, jeez. Randy Orton.
Warmer, but no.
Solo Sikoa.
Colder.
What are we at now?
15.
Trying to think who wrestled on SmackDown. Let me see if I still have some pictures from SmackDown on my computer.
You're gonna really be mad if
you said it was a man.
it is. Yep.
Kevin Owens. Is it Kevin Owens? Oh, okay. Kevin Owens. Woo woo! I could have gotten so many more questions that were better. There we go.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I didn't get. Well, you gave me the pop sensation. I know you want me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, so that's the show. And wow, we went a long time today, but it was a great conversation with what's going on in the wrestling biz. And we thank you for tuning in with us, being part of the show, all the peeps who support. And you can keep supporting by hitting that subscribe button, bell notification to know every time we post. And by post, I not only mean the live streams, but also our cut up clips from the show that Sara puts together. Go check those out and help us get those views up over 1,300. Okay, I said I wanted that before Christmas, but Santa came a little early, so I'm gonna up it because I'm a spoiled little boy. And I want to see 1375 by Christmas. Okay. I think 1375 is reasonable. If we get to 1400, I might do something crazy. Okay. So you gotta do it to find out what it is. And then to follow Sara and I on all the other social media platforms, check out the links in the description below. And we'll be back on Saturday. Do you want to do Saturday? Because deadline?
Because what?
Deadline?
Yeah, because I have stuff to do. I have something on Sunday.
Then we're going to be here on Saturday. Okay, Saturday, regular time. So go check us out before deadline. All right, we'll be here. And until then, thank you all for tuning in. God bless. Remember, you can do it. All you got to do is try. See you on Saturday. Yeah.